What's up, fam? Welcome back to reality. Let's talk about a major part of everything. The source. Your identity. It's what manifests your entire reality. It can make something very easy or very hard, like fasting, which we'll get into in the next video. But let's talk about, we got to get this straight. So this is very important for all of us. Who do you identify with? And what do you identify with? What story are you telling yourself? And what words are you using? Okay, all these are very, very important. The moment you change the story that you tell yourself about who you are, the moment your world changes. Tesla, his number one principle was to always remind himself and to never forget who he was and what his mission was on this earth. Perspective. And perspective can come from changing your subconscious programming about who you are. So when you have pain in the body, the reaction to that changes. Everything changes. And we'll get into this. Let's read from the Hermetica. And let Hermes, thrice greatest, tell us a little bit about the soul and who we are. This is a little bit darker, but it's enlightening at the same time. Hermes. I've seen a vision of souls about to be shut up in bodies. Some of them wailed and moaned. Some struggled against their doom, like noble beasts caught by crafty hunters and dragged away from their wild home. One shrieked, and looking up and down, exclaimed, "O heaven, source of being, bright shining stars and unfailing sun and moon, light and life breath of the one. All that you share, our home, how cruel is it that we are being torn away from such celestial splendor. We are to be expelled from this holy place, and from a blissful life to be imprisoned in a mean, sorry place." We are living in darkness, my friends. All these souls living for the material body, this video game that they get lost in. It's kind of sad, but let's talk about ignorance of the soul. And then we're going to get into the very practical means for how to shift your identity and why this is so damn important. Literally so important. No matter where you are, a conscious reminder of who you are, what you are. And what you're here to do is literally will make the difference in everything. Okay. Each soul's hope of eternal life rests in his life here on earth. But many cannot believe this, seeing it as an empty story to be laughed at. For the possessions of this life are too pleasant, and such pleasures grip the soul by the throat, holding it down to earth. Our possessions possess us. We were not born with possessions, but acquired them later. Everything a man uses to gratify his body is alien to his godlike nature. Not only possessions, even the body is foreign to the true self. Okay. What do we take away from this stuff? The fact that we identify with the material and we're set up in a society and world that programs us materialistically in this materialist consumer society, we've had this deep programming that we are this body, that we are, right? There's no knowledge. We live in the age of endarkenment, right? And we're breaking out of this. And shifting your identity to what truly matters, living for the soul, changes everything. A quick addition. What are you living for? Your identity, what you identify with, determines what you see and look for out here. Okay? What are you living for? Are you living for that couch and potato chips when you get to relax? Or for things that feed the soul? What are you living for? What do you seek? What do you desire, right? By shifting your identity to the infinite, to the formless, to the spiritual, you ascend towards it, okay? Earth descends to earth. Fire ascends to fire, okay? Let me repeat that. Earth descends to earth. Fire ascends to fire. Flame goes up, earth goes down. If you identify with earth, right? The mind is this magical thing. It's crazy. But what you identify with, you move towards. What you portray, what you project out here, what you try to seem to be, you become. Okay? The story you tell yourself. So like if you're with friends, right? And you're trying to seem to be like a cool jock, right? 4 years from now, you'll be a cool jock, right? That's just how it works, okay? The mind is so damn powerful. And whatever you identify with, you move towards. So to make everything easier in life, right? To eat healthier, to be more loving and accepting, to overcome trauma quicker, right? And to not live in deception, to live authentically, to not live for the lie, to break out of the illusion, shift your identity to the truth of who you are. Secondly, if you are unsure, you have major doubts about this whole spiritual and soul thing, yeah, it sounds good, it makes you live a little bit happier, but like, I don't know. All that's guaranteed is that I'm going to live and die in the body in this physical world that I see. Yo, my friends, be a little kid for a second and take a leap of faith. Take a leap of faith. Just try it out. Try out identifying as a spiritual being. Try it out and see what happens. When you start to move that way, everything opens up. And like at this point, on my journey, it's like I can feel things, hear things, connect with things, intuit things, and like have insights so far beyond the physical, it's not even funny. There's zero doubt in my mind. There's zero doubt in my mind about who we are and where we're going. I mean, it's not some kind of thing I could articulate. Like I know exactly, but I know what I do know for sure is that we are far more than physical material beings. And there's far more out here than just this. Take a leap of faith and see what happens. Remember that fire ascends to fire. Fire of the soul, my friends. Let's get into more on perception and words and whatnot. Let's talk about I'm just reading this. The Nag Hammadi scriptures. Jesus Christ is talking in these Gnostic texts, and he talks about, abandoning all things of the material, like letting go of all material. Constantly, it talks about letting go, emptying the darkness from you, right? And living for the soul, living for the true self, right? And letting the self enter body. All urges of the body, all feelings of the body can be overcome when you identify with the mind, when you identify with the soul, right? So when you shift this identity, and you have to consciously do this, right? When you say, I'm hungry, say, it's hungry, right? Because you breathe the breath of life. You need not eat. Seriously. Like, when you get hurt, say, my body's hurt, right? Just feel how different it says to say, I am my body, or I have a body. You see, your words are very important, okay? So like whenever, like if you're struggling with addiction and attachment to physical, right? You gotta change how you say and think about these kinds of things, okay? It wants to lust. It wants to eat. It wants to go do all this stuff. You see, if you just shift your identity and understand that the material and the body is the beast and the deception that is keeping you here, right? And trapping your soul in this freaking like cage, right? When you understand this and you refer to it as it, when you shift who you are in your mind, right? Everything changes. How you breathe changes because you realize what breath is, right? How you eat changes. How you see, how you think, how you react in every given situation changes. Someone does you horribly wrong, right? Your reaction to that is far different when you see them for who they are and you see yourself for who you are. If you identify with the soul at the spiritual level, right? You gain a perspective that is absolutely vital to your life here, right? Go get the Hermetica and read the prophecy of Hermes. And then read the chapter on incarnations of the soul and ignorance of the soul. Ignorance of the soul. That's what this whole world is set up to do. Literally. And if you can shift your programming by using NLP, by using changing the way you think and speak words, consciously shifting every single time, right? All of a sudden you start to identify with something higher. When this happens, guess what? Your perception opens because you do not see the skin as the barrier, right? You start breathing through your auric body and the energy around you enlightens, right? You gain inner vision because you see who you are, right? Everything starts shifting. Like each perception changes. It's crazy how the mind works, right? Your core beliefs hold upon everything you can think and see are in this frame of reference that is held upon your core beliefs. By shifting your core beliefs through NLP, through conscious thought, right? And programming and unprogramming, unlearning, right? This whole frame changes. So you can feel more, see more, think more clearly. Your auric and spiritual body cleanse. Yeah, I just wanted to talk on that for a little while. I might add more, but if not, thanks for watching. Go check out my Patreon. I'm uploading exclusive content and extras over there, so more content for you guys. And one more thing. Oh yeah, go check out the next video. It's gonna be on fasting. And if you're new here, definitely subscribe and hit the bell. I mean, we're blasting off straight in outer space because we are spaceborne. Peace out.